What if the biggest reason your energy is fading, your sleep feels broken, and your erections aren't as strong as they used to be isn't simply because you're getting older? What if your body has been quietly asking for one essential nutrient every single night, and you've been missing the signals for years? Most men over 50 blame age, stress, or low testosterone, but growing research suggests that one simple vitamin may influence how well you sleep, how much energy you wake up with, and even how effectively your blood vessels and muscles work when it matters most. Before you dismiss this as another health myth, let's explore what modern science is beginning to reveal about the remarkable connection between this overlooked vitamin and the aging male body. Many men believe that when they reach the age of 50, changes in their body are simply part of growing older. They notice that they wake up feeling tired even after spending enough hours in bed. They feel less motivated during the day. Their muscles recover more slowly, and they begin to experience changes in their intimate life. Because these changes often happen gradually, they seem normal. It becomes easy to think that aging alone is responsible. But the human body rarely works in isolated pieces. It functions like a carefully connected system, where one change quietly influences many others. When sleep becomes poor, energy begins to fade. When energy fades, physical activity decreases. When physical activity decreases, blood circulation, hormone balance, and muscle health begin to change. These changes eventually affect sexual health as well. What appears to be three different problems may actually be different expressions of the same underlying process. This connection is one of the most fascinating discoveries in modern health science. Researchers continue to explore how sleep quality, energy production, and erectile function influence one another every single day. Instead of treating them as separate conditions, scientists increasingly recognize them as parts of the same biological network. Every night, while you are asleep, your body enters a remarkable period of repair. Cells are renewed, hormones are released, damaged tissues begin to recover, and the brain organizes countless chemical signals that prepare you for the following day. If this nightly repair process becomes interrupted, the effects rarely stay limited to sleep alone. Think about how you feel after just one poor night of sleep. You may wake up feeling mentally slow, physically weak, and emotionally irritable. Concentration becomes difficult. Motivation decreases. Even simple tasks require more effort. Now imagine repeating that experience night after night for months or even years. The body never receives enough time to fully repair itself. Gradually, systems that depend on healthy sleep begin to lose their efficiency. One of those systems is the production and regulation of important hormones. During deep sleep, the body performs some of its most valuable maintenance work. Hormones involved in muscle repair, metabolism, and reproductive health follow natural daily rhythms that depend heavily on high-quality sleep. When deep sleep becomes shorter or more fragmented, these natural rhythms may become disrupted. The result is often lower energy during the day and reduced physical performance. At the same time, the cardiovascular system also depends on healthy sleep. Blood vessels relax during the night. Blood pressure follows healthy patterns, and the heart receives valuable recovery time. Healthy blood vessels are essential for delivering oxygen and nutrients throughout the body. They are equally important for maintaining normal erectile function because erections depend primarily on healthy blood flow. If blood vessels lose flexibility or circulation becomes less efficient, intimate health may begin to change long before serious heart disease is diagnosed. This is why many healthcare professionals now view erectile difficulties not simply as a private concern but sometimes as an early indicator that the body's circulation deserves closer attention. The same arteries that supply blood to the heart and brain also support healthy sexual function. Because the blood vessels in the penis are smaller than many other arteries in the body, they may show signs of reduced circulation earlier than larger blood vessels. Sometimes the body gives subtle warnings long before more serious symptoms appear elsewhere. Energy also depends on another remarkable process taking place inside every cell. Tiny structures called mitochondria produce the energy that powers nearly every movement, every heartbeat, and every thought. These microscopic energy factories require a constant supply of nutrients and oxygen to function efficiently. As we grow older, mitochondrial efficiency naturally declines to some extent. But lifestyle factors such as poor sleep, inactivity, chronic stress, and nutritional deficiencies can accelerate this decline. When cells produce less energy, the entire body feels the difference. Walking becomes more tiring. Climbing stairs feels harder. Mental focus decreases. Even enthusiasm for activities that once brought joy may slowly disappear. Now consider how these changes influence each other. Lower energy often leads to less physical activity. Reduced activity weakens muscles, slows circulation, and may contribute to weight gain. Extra body fat can interfere with hormone balance and increase inflammation throughout the body. Chronic inflammation places additional stress on blood vessels and tissues. As blood vessel health declines, erectile function may weaken further. Frustration and anxiety about these changes can then interfere with sleep, creating a cycle that feeds itself. Psychological health also plays an important role. Sleep is not simply a period of unconsciousness. During the night, the brain processes emotions, stores memories, and restores the balance of important chemical messengers. When sleep becomes poor, stress hormones may remain elevated for longer periods. Higher stress levels can reduce relaxation, increase anxiety, and make it more difficult for the nervous system to support normal sexual function. Even when blood flow is healthy, excessive stress alone can interfere with erections because the brain remains one of the most important organs involved in sexual response. Many men focus entirely on testosterone when they notice these changes. Testosterone certainly plays an important role in male health, but it is only one part of a much larger picture. A man with healthy testosterone levels may still struggle with fatigue or erectile difficulties if his sleep is consistently poor, his circulation is impaired, or his nutritional status is inadequate. Likewise, improving sleep quality often supports healthier hormone balance naturally because the body's repair systems finally receive the time they need to function properly. Age itself is not the true enemy. Aging is a natural biological process that every human experiences. The real challenge lies in understanding how daily habits either support or interfere with the body's remarkable ability to adapt. The body continues repairing itself throughout life. It continues producing new cells, healing damaged tissues, adjusting hormone levels, and responding to healthier choices even in later decades. This remarkable resilience reminds us that growing older does not mean the body suddenly loses its capacity to improve. It simply becomes more dependent on consistent care, proper nutrition, restorative sleep, regular movement, and the biological conditions that allow every interconnected system to perform the work it was designed to do. When scientists study the human body, they often discover that the smallest nutrients can have surprisingly wide-ranging effects. A single vitamin may participate in hundreds of different biological reactions every day without us ever noticing. It does not work like a drug that creates an immediate change. Instead, it quietly supports the body's natural systems, allowing them to function the way they were designed to. One vitamin that has attracted increasing attention in recent years is vitamin D. While many people think of it only as the bone vitamin, research has revealed that its influence extends far beyond bone health. Nearly every major organ system contains receptors that respond to vitamin D, suggesting that it plays a much broader role in human health than once believed. As men grow older, maintaining adequate vitamin D levels becomes more important. The skin becomes less efficient at producing vitamin D from sunlight. Many people spend more time indoors, and dietary intake is often not enough to make up the difference. This means that a large number of adults over 50 may have lower vitamin D levels than they realize. Because deficiency often develops slowly, it may not produce obvious symptoms at first. Instead, subtle changes appear over months or years. Energy decreases little by little. Muscles become weaker. Sleep may feel less refreshing. Recovery after physical activity takes longer. Many people simply assume these changes are unavoidable signs of aging. One reason vitamin D is so fascinating is that it helps regulate the way cells communicate with one another. Every second, billions of cells exchange chemical messages that tell muscles when to contract, nerves when to send signals, and organs how to respond to changing conditions. Vitamin D supports this communication by helping regulate the activity of many genes involved in normal cellular function. Scientists estimate that vitamin D influences the expression of hundreds of genes throughout the body, making it one of the most widely involved nutrients in human biology. Muscle function provides a good example of this relationship. Strong muscles are not only important for lifting weights or staying active, they also help maintain balance, support healthy metabolism, improve blood circulation, and preserve independence later in life. Research has shown that low vitamin D levels are associated with reduced muscle strength and increased risk of falls in older adults. Healthy muscle tissue depends on proper nerve signals, calcium balance, and protein maintenance, all of which are influenced in some way by vitamin D. When muscles function efficiently, everyday activities require less effort, leaving more energy available for the rest of the day. Nerve communication is another area where vitamin D appears to play an important role. The nervous system acts as the body's electrical network, carrying messages between the brain and every organ. These signals control movement, sensation, sleep cycles, and sexual response. Healthy nerves depend on a stable internal environment to transmit messages accurately. Although vitamin D is not the only nutrient involved, researchers continue to investigate how adequate levels may help support normal nerve health and communication. Efficient nerve signaling contributes to smoother coordination between the brain and the body, allowing different systems to work together more effectively. Blood vessel health is equally important. Erections depend primarily on healthy circulation. When a man becomes sexually aroused, blood vessels relax and allow increased blood flow into specialized tissues. This process depends on flexible blood vessels and healthy production of nitric oxide, a natural molecule that helps arteries widen. Scientists are exploring how vitamin D may support normal endothelial function, which refers to the health of the thin lining inside blood vessels. Some studies suggest that vitamin D deficiency is associated with poorer vascular function, although many factors contribute to circulation, including exercise, blood pressure, body weight, smoking, diabetes, and overall heart health. Rather than acting alone, vitamin D appears to support an environment in which blood vessels can perform their natural functions more effectively. Hormone balance adds another layer to this complex picture. Testosterone is often discussed whenever male vitality is mentioned, but hormone production depends on many biological systems working together. Sleep quality, body composition, inflammation, stress, nutrition, and overall health all influence hormonal balance. Some research has explored whether vitamin D levels are linked with testosterone levels in certain groups of men. While findings remain mixed and more research is needed, maintaining adequate vitamin D is considered an important part of supporting overall health, which in turn helps create favorable conditions for normal hormone regulation rather than serving as a direct testosterone booster. Sleep itself may also be connected to vitamin D in interesting ways. Scientists have identified vitamin D receptors in areas of the brain involved in regulating sleep and wakefulness. Although researchers are still learning exactly how this relationship works, several studies have found associations between low vitamin D levels and poorer sleep quality in some individuals. People with low levels sometimes report difficulty staying asleep, waking up feeling unrest, or experiencing shorter periods of deep sleep. Since deep sleep is when much of the body's repair and recovery takes place, improving nutritional status may help support healthier sleep in individuals who are deficient. Though sleep quality also depends on many other factors such as stress, medical conditions, medications, and daily habits. This brings us to an interesting question that many people ask: why do some health professionals suggest taking vitamin D in the evening or before bed? The scientific evidence on timing is not conclusive. Vitamin D can generally be taken at different times of the day, especially when consumed with a meal that contains some healthy fat to improve absorption because it is a fat-soluble vitamin. Some people prefer taking it earlier in the day, while others find an evening routine easier to remember and more consistent. The most important factor supported by research is regular daily intake when supplementation is appropriate, rather than a specific hour on the clock. Consistency is usually more valuable than timing alone. Creating a nightly health routine may also produce indirect benefits. When a person takes a moment before bed to care for their health, they are often more likely to maintain other positive habits such as reducing screen time, avoiding heavy late-night meals, staying hydrated, and preparing for restful sleep. Over weeks and months, these habits work together. The vitamin becomes one small part of a larger pattern that supports recovery instead of trying to deliver instant results. It is also important to understand what vitamin D cannot do. It is not a miracle cure for erectile dysfunction, chronic fatigue, or insomnia. If these problems are caused by conditions such as diabetes, cardiovascular disease, severe hormonal disorders, depression, medication side effects, or sleep apnea, Addressing those underlying causes is essential. Vitamin D should be viewed as one piece of a much larger health puzzle rather than a replacement for medical evaluation or healthy living. The remarkable lesson from modern science is not that one vitamin solves every problem, but that the body functions as an interconnected system where adequate nutrition, healthy circulation, balanced hormones, restorative sleep, regular physical activity, and consistent daily habits work together to support strength, vitality, and healthy aging. One of the most surprising things about vitamin D deficiency is that it often develops so quietly that many people never realize it is happening. Unlike an injury that causes immediate pain or an illness that brings a sudden fever, low vitamin D levels usually create subtle changes that appear gradually over months or even years. Because these changes happen so slowly, the brain adapts to them. What once felt unusual eventually begins to feel normal. A man may simply believe that he is getting older, when in reality his body may be signaling that something important is missing. The challenge is that the symptoms of vitamin D deficiency are often shared with many other health conditions. Feeling tired during the day, having less motivation to exercise, experiencing muscle weakness, sleeping poorly, or noticing a decline in physical performance can all have different causes. Stress, poor nutrition, chronic illness, medication side effects, and lack of physical activity can produce similar symptoms. This is why it is impossible to diagnose a deficiency based on symptoms alone. Even so, recognizing these warning signs can encourage someone to ask the right questions and seek proper medical evaluation. Many men first notice that their energy is no longer what it used to be. They wake up after what should have been a full night's sleep but still feel exhausted. Instead of feeling refreshed in the morning, they struggle to get started. Activities that were once easy begin to require more effort. Walking longer distances, climbing stairs, carrying groceries, or completing simple household tasks may leave them feeling unusually tired. While aging naturally changes endurance to some degree, persistent fatigue should never be dismissed without considering possible underlying causes. Muscle weakness is another common but often overlooked sign. Muscles depend on many nutrients to function properly, and vitamin D plays an important supporting role in maintaining normal muscle performance. A person may notice that standing up from a chair feels more difficult, balance becomes less stable, or lifting familiar objects requires greater effort than before. Some people describe their legs as feeling unusually heavy even though they have not increased their physical activity. These changes may happen so gradually that they are blamed entirely on age instead of prompting a closer look at nutritional health. Sleep can also begin to change in subtle ways. Instead of sleeping deeply through the night, a person may wake up several times without an obvious reason. They may spend enough hours in bed but still feel as though they never truly rested. Deep sleep is when much of the body's repair and recovery takes place. If sleep quality declines, the effects often extend far beyond feeling tired. Mood, concentration, memory, hormone regulation, and physical recovery can all be affected. Although vitamin D is only one of many factors involved in healthy sleep, researchers continue to study its possible influence on sleep regulation, especially in individuals with low levels. Some men also notice changes in their physical strength and exercise performance. They recover more slowly after physical activity. Muscles remain sore for longer than expected. Walking, cycling, or exercising feels more demanding than it once did, because regular movement helps support healthy circulation, metabolism, and cardiovascular fitness. Reduced activity may gradually contribute to additional health problems. What begins as mild fatigue can slowly become a cycle in which reduced energy leads to less movement, which then causes even lower fitness and greater tiredness. Bone discomfort is another possible sign. Vitamin D helps the body absorb calcium efficiently, making it essential for maintaining healthy bones. When vitamin D levels remain low for extended periods, bones may gradually lose strength. Some people experience vague aches in the lower back, hips, ribs, or legs without an obvious injury. Others notice that their joints feel stiff or uncomfortable. While many conditions can cause similar symptoms, long-term vitamin D deficiency may contribute to poor bone health if left untreated. Mood changes sometimes appear as well. A person may feel less interested in activities they once enjoyed or become more easily discouraged by everyday challenges. Researchers continue exploring the relationship between vitamin D and mental well-being. Although emotional health is influenced by many biological, psychological, and social factors, sleep quality, physical activity, nutrition, stress, and medical conditions all interact with one another. This reminds us that no single vitamin controls our emotions, but maintaining adequate nutrition supports the body's overall ability to function well. One reason vitamin D deficiency becomes more common after the age of 50 is that the body's natural production begins to decline. When sunlight reaches the skin, a complex process allows the body to produce vitamin D. However, as people grow older, the skin becomes less efficient at carrying out this process. This means that two people spending the same amount of time outdoors may produce different amounts of vitamin D depending on their age. Modern lifestyles also contribute to the problem. Many people spend most of their day indoors at home, in offices, or inside vehicles. Even when they go outside, they may wear clothing that covers much of the skin or apply sunscreen to reduce the risk of sun damage. Protecting the skin is important, but it also means that opportunities for natural vitamin D production become more limited. During colder seasons, shorter daylight hours and reduced outdoor activity can further decrease vitamin D synthesis. Diet alone is often not enough to maintain optimal levels. Only a limited number of foods naturally contain significant amounts of vitamin D. Fatty fish such as salmon, sardines, and mackerel are among the richest natural sources. Egg yolks and liver provide smaller amounts, while some dairy products, plant-based milks, and cereals are fortified in certain countries. Even with a balanced diet, many people still consume less vitamin D than their bodies require, especially if sunlight exposure is limited. Certain health conditions can increase the risk of deficiency as well. Disorders that affect the stomach or intestines may reduce the body's ability to absorb nutrients properly. Kidney and liver diseases can interfere with the conversion of vitamin D into its active forms. Individuals living with obesity may also have lower circulating vitamin D levels because the vitamin can become stored in body fat, making less of it available for normal biological functions. Some medications may also affect vitamin D metabolism, making regular medical follow-up especially important. People with darker skin tones may face an additional challenge because higher levels of melanin reduce the skin's ability to produce vitamin D from sunlight. This does not mean deficiency is inevitable, but it does mean that some individuals may require more sunlight exposure or other strategies to maintain healthy levels. Geographic location also matters. People living in regions with long winters or limited sunlight during certain months may have fewer opportunities for natural vitamin D production. Perhaps the most important lesson is that guessing is never enough. Many people assume they are deficient simply because they feel tired, while others believe their levels must be normal because they spend time outdoors. Neither assumption is reliable. A simple blood test ordered by a healthcare professional remains the most accurate way to determine vitamin D status. Knowing the actual level allows decisions about diet, lifestyle, or supplementation to be based on evidence rather than speculation. The body often whispers long before it cries out, and learning to recognize these quiet signals with curiosity instead of fear gives us the opportunity to address potential problems early while supporting health through informed choices rather than assumptions. Knowing that vitamin D is important is only part of the journey. The next question is how to support healthy vitamin D levels in a way that is both safe and practical. Many people assume that if a little is good, then more must be better, but the human body rarely works that way. Health is usually built through balance, not extremes. Vitamins are meant to support normal biological function, and taking excessive amounts does not necessarily create greater benefits. In some cases, too much of a vitamin can even become harmful. That is why understanding how to use vitamin D wisely is just as important as understanding why it matters. The first place to begin is with food. Although relatively few foods naturally contain large amounts of vitamin D, including them regularly in your diet can help support healthy levels. Fatty fish such as salmon, sardines, mackerel, and trout are among the richest natural sources. These foods also provide healthy omega-3 fats and high-quality protein, making them valuable additions to a balanced eating pattern. Egg yolks contain smaller amounts of vitamin D and also provide important nutrients that support overall health. In some countries, milk, yogurt, breakfast cereals, and plant-based beverages are fortified with vitamin D, offering another way to increase intake through everyday meals. Food alone, however, may not be enough for everyone. Many adults, especially those over 50, simply cannot obtain sufficient vitamin D through diet because the number of naturally rich food sources is limited. This is why healthcare professionals sometimes recommend supplements, particularly when a blood test confirms low levels. Supplements should be viewed as a way to correct or maintain adequate vitamin D status rather than as a shortcut to better health. They work best when they support a healthy lifestyle instead of trying to replace it. If a supplement is appropriate, following the advice of a qualified healthcare professional is important. The right amount depends on many factors, including age, current vitamin D levels, overall health, body weight, medical conditions, and certain medications. Some people require only a maintenance dose, while others with a confirmed deficiency may need a higher dose for a limited period under medical supervision. Taking large amounts without proper guidance can increase the risk of vitamin D toxicity, which may lead to excessive calcium levels in the blood and cause problems affecting the kidneys, heart, or other organs. Although toxicity is uncommon, it highlights the importance of using supplements responsibly rather than assuming that more is always better. Vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin, which means it is absorbed more effectively when consumed with a meal that contains some healthy fat. Foods such as nuts, seeds, avocado, olive oil, yogurt, or fish can help support absorption. Taking vitamin D on an empty stomach may reduce how efficiently the body uses it. This is one reason many healthcare providers recommend taking the supplement with breakfast, lunch, or dinner rather than by itself, while some people prefer taking it in the evening because it fits their routine. Current research does not clearly show that bedtime offers unique advantages for everyone. Consistency is generally more important than the exact hour of the day. Sunlight remains one of the body's natural sources of vitamin D. When ultraviolet B rays reach the skin, they trigger a remarkable process that allows the body to produce its own vitamin D. Spending moderate time outdoors can support this natural production, but the amount of sunlight needed varies depending on skin tone, age, season, time of day, geographic location, clothing, and sunscreen use, because excessive sun exposure increases the risk of skin damage and skin cancer. The goal is not to spend long hours in direct sunlight. Finding a healthy balance while following local public health recommendations is the safest approach. Regular physical activity can also complement the benefits of maintaining healthy vitamin D levels. Exercise improves circulation, strengthens muscles, supports bone health, enhances sleep quality, and helps regulate metabolism. Walking, swimming, cycling, light resistance training, or simple bodyweight exercises performed consistently can make a meaningful difference over time. Vitamin D supports normal muscle function, but muscles also need regular use to remain strong. The two work together, reminding us that nutrients and movement are partners rather than separate solutions. Sleep habits deserve equal attention. Even the best nutrition cannot fully compensate for chronic sleep deprivation. Creating a consistent bedtime, reducing exposure to bright screens before sleep, keeping the bedroom cool and comfortable, and avoiding heavy meals or excessive caffeine late in the day all support the body's natural sleep cycle. If vitamin D levels are low, correcting the deficiency may help some individuals who experience poor sleep related to that deficiency. But healthy sleep routines remain essential regardless of supplement use. Hydration is another simple habit that often receives less attention than it deserves. Every cell in the body depends on adequate water to function efficiently. Proper hydration supports circulation, nutrient transport, temperature regulation, and countless chemical reactions that occur throughout the day. Drinking enough water will not increase vitamin D levels, but it helps create an environment where the body's systems can operate more effectively. Body weight also plays a role in vitamin D status. Research suggests that people living with obesity often have lower circulating vitamin D levels because more of the vitamin becomes stored in fat tissue. This does not mean weight alone determines vitamin D status, but maintaining a healthy body weight through balanced eating and regular activity supports many aspects of health, including hormone balance, cardiovascular function, and energy levels. There are also common mistakes that can reduce the effectiveness of efforts to improve vitamin D levels. One mistake is taking supplements irregularly. Missing doses frequently makes it harder to maintain stable levels over time. Another mistake is assuming that a supplement can compensate for poor eating habits, physical inactivity, or inadequate sleep. Vitamins support the body's natural processes, but they cannot replace the benefits of a healthy lifestyle. Some people rely entirely on internet advice without checking whether it applies to their own situation. Health information online can be helpful, but individual needs vary. Someone with kidney disease, liver disease, digestive disorders, or certain hormonal conditions may require a different approach than someone who is otherwise healthy. Personal medical history always matters more than generalized advice. Another mistake is overlooking other nutrients that work alongside vitamin D. Healthy bones and muscles require more than one vitamin. Calcium, magnesium, protein, vitamin K, and other nutrients all contribute to normal body function. Rather than focusing on a single nutrient in isolation, it is more helpful to build a varied, nutrient-rich diet that provides the body with everything it needs to perform its daily repair and maintenance. Regular medical checkups also have value. A blood test can determine whether vitamin D levels are low, adequate, or excessively high. This allows healthcare professionals to recommend appropriate changes based on evidence instead of guesswork. Monitoring progress ensures that supplementation, if needed, remains both effective and safe over time. Perhaps the greatest mistake is expecting immediate transformation. The body usually heals gradually. Cells repair themselves day by day. Muscles adapt through repeated use. Blood vessels respond to healthier habits over time. And sleep patterns often improve through consistency rather than overnight change. Vitamin D is not a magic switch that instantly restores youth. But when combined with nourishing food, regular movement, restorative sleep, sensible sunlight exposure, hydration, and thoughtful medical guidance, it becomes part of a larger commitment to respecting the remarkable biology that continues working quietly within us every moment of every day. One of the greatest misunderstandings about health is the expectation that meaningful change should happen almost overnight. Modern advertising often promises fast results, instant energy, or dramatic transformations within days. The human body, however, follows a different rhythm. It repairs itself patiently. Cells renew themselves little by little. Muscles become stronger through repeated effort. Blood vessels respond gradually to healthier habits. Sleep improves one night at a time. Lasting health is rarely the result of a single pill or one perfect decision. It is usually the outcome of many small choices made consistently over weeks, months, and years. If a man has been living with low vitamin D levels and begins correcting that deficiency under appropriate medical guidance, the first improvements are often subtle rather than dramatic. Some people notice that they wake up feeling slightly more refreshed. Morning fatigue may begin to ease. Instead of feeling exhausted before the day has truly started, they may find themselves moving with a little more willingness and a little less effort. These changes are often easy to overlook because they develop gradually. Looking back after several weeks, however, many people realize that everyday activities no longer feel quite as difficult as they once did. Energy is often one of the earliest areas where improvement may be noticed, especially if low vitamin D was contributing to fatigue. This does not mean that vitamin D creates energy in the same way caffeine does. It does not stimulate the body or produce an immediate burst of alertness. Instead, by supporting normal biological functions, adequate vitamin D helps create conditions in which the body's natural energy systems can operate more efficiently. The difference is often described as feeling more naturally capable rather than artificially energized. Muscle function may also improve over time. Everyday movements such as walking, climbing stairs, standing up from a chair, or carrying groceries can begin to feel easier, combined with regular physical activity and adequate protein intake. Healthy vitamin D levels help support normal muscle performance. This becomes especially important after the age of 50, when maintaining muscle strength plays a major role in preserving independence, reducing the risk of falls, and supporting overall quality of life. Sleep may gradually become more restorative for individuals whose deficiency was affecting sleep quality. Some people report fewer nighttime awakenings or a greater sense of refreshment in the morning. Others notice only modest changes because sleep depends on many factors beyond vitamin D alone. Stress, anxiety, chronic pain, medications, alcohol, caffeine, sleep apnea, and irregular bedtime routines can all interfere with healthy sleep. Correcting one nutritional deficiency may help, but it cannot overcome every obstacle by itself. Sexual health is another area where realistic expectations are essential. Healthy erectile function depends on a complex interaction between blood vessels, nerves, hormones, psychological well-being, physical fitness, and overall cardiovascular health. If vitamin D deficiency has been affecting blood vessel function or general health, correcting that deficiency may contribute to improvement as part of a broader healthy lifestyle. However, vitamin D should never be viewed as a guaranteed treatment for erectile dysfunction. Many men experience erectile difficulties because of diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, obesity, smoking, depression, medication side effects, hormonal disorders, or neurological conditions. Addressing these underlying causes often has a much greater impact than relying on any single supplement. This is why persistent erectile problems should not be ignored or hidden out of embarrassment. In some cases, they may serve as an early warning sign that deserves medical attention. Blood vessels supplying the penis are smaller than many arteries elsewhere in the body, so circulation problems may appear there before symptoms develop in the heart or brain. Seeking medical advice is not simply about improving sexual function. It may also provide an opportunity to identify cardiovascular risk factors early, allowing preventive measures before more serious health events occur. Certain individuals should be especially careful before starting vitamin D supplements. People living with kidney disease, certain liver disorders, sarcoidosis, hyperparathyroidism, or conditions that affect calcium metabolism require individualized medical guidance. Some medications may interact with vitamin D metabolism or influence calcium levels. Individuals taking prescription medications regularly should discuss supplementation with their healthcare professional rather than relying solely on information found online. Even nutrients that are generally considered safe deserve thoughtful use when medical conditions are present. Blood testing also plays an important role. Guessing whether vitamin D levels are low is not the same as knowing. Some people who feel tired may actually have normal vitamin D levels, while others with significant deficiency may experience very few symptoms. Measuring blood levels allows healthcare professionals to recommend an appropriate plan based on objective information instead of assumptions. Follow-up testing may also be useful after supplementation to ensure that levels have improved without becoming excessively high. Another important lesson is that health is built through cooperation among many systems rather than dependence on one nutrient. Imagine trying to build a strong house using only bricks while ignoring cement, wood, steel, plumbing, and electricity. No matter how many bricks you have, the house will never function properly without every part working together. The human body follows the same principle. Vitamin D supports many biological processes, but it works alongside dozens of other vitamins, minerals, proteins, hormones, and healthy lifestyle habits. Removing one deficiency helps, but complete health depends on the strength of the entire system. Nutrition should therefore be viewed as a pattern rather than a collection of isolated supplements. Eating a variety of vegetables, fruits, whole grains, lean proteins, healthy fats, nuts, seeds, legumes, and fish provides the body with thousands of beneficial compounds that work together in ways scientists are still discovering. Every balanced meal becomes another opportunity to supply cells with the building blocks they need for repair, growth, and normal function. Regular exercise remains equally essential. Physical activity strengthens muscles, improves blood circulation, supports healthy blood pressure, enhances insulin sensitivity, promotes better sleep, and contributes to emotional well-being. Even moderate activities such as brisk walking, gardening, swimming, or cycling performed consistently can create meaningful improvements over time. Strength training becomes particularly valuable after 50 because preserving muscle mass supports metabolism, balance, and long-term independence. Managing stress deserves attention as well. Chronic stress affects sleep quality, hormone regulation, immune function, and cardiovascular health. The body cannot fully recover if it remains in a constant state of tension. Simple practices such as spending time outdoors, maintaining meaningful relationships, practicing deep breathing, engaging in hobbies, or setting aside moments for quiet reflection may help support emotional balance alongside physical health. Avoiding harmful habits can be just as powerful as adopting healthy ones. Smoking damages blood vessels and reduces circulation. Excessive alcohol intake interferes with sleep quality, liver function, and hormone balance. Highly processed diets rich in added sugars and unhealthy fats contribute to inflammation and metabolic disease. Replacing these habits with healthier alternatives often produces greater long-term benefits than adding any single supplement. Perhaps the most encouraging truth is that the body retains an extraordinary ability to adapt, even later in life. While aging brings natural biological changes, it does not eliminate the body's capacity for repair. New cells continue to form, muscles respond to training, bones remodel themselves, blood vessels can become healthier through better lifestyle choices, sleep can improve with consistent habits, energy can gradually return when the body receives the nutrients, movement, rest, and medical care it needs. Growing older is not simply a story of decline, it is also a story of resilience, adaptation, and the remarkable potential that remains within the human body when we choose to support it with patience, knowledge, and daily acts of care rather than searching for miracles that promise everything while delivering very little. This content is for educational and informational purposes only and is not medical advice. Every person's health situation is different. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional before starting, stopping, or changing any vitamin, supplement, medication, or treatment, especially if you have a medical condition or take prescription medications. Results vary from person to person, and no supplement can guarantee specific health outcomes.